This is Jamie Drummond for Good Food Revolution. We are joined all the way from a very sunny South Africa by our old pal, vigneron Paul Clüver. How are you today, Paul?
I'm very good, Jamie. Very good to see you.
Excellent. Fantastic to see you today. We are here to speak about a wine that is available through LCBO Vintages right now. And it's a real cracker. I purchased a bottle a couple of weeks ago just to taste it again, and
Yeah.
then realized I need to buy another one for today. So it's the 2022 Village Chardonnay. And I think it is a wonderful expression of what you do down there in Elgin. So tell us a little bit about this wine. The first thing that bounces, that just exudes from this glass is just this brightness of fruit you have on this wine. And even in the glass, just the clarity of the wine itself is really quite something.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about it, what you're aiming for with this wine and how you get to that point.
So what I really love about this wine, and probably we should look at the background, is when we the whole concept of making a village Chardonnay. We've been producing two other Chardonnays for quite some time, and people always said, "Would you ever make an unwooded Chardonnay?" And personally, I find unwooded Chardonnays quite insipid. They lack a little bit
Yep.
of structure. Um, but I love Chablis. I think Chablis Chardonnay is always they so approachable, beautiful to drink. And then we asked ourselves, well, what if we go that direction? We don't use any new wood. We use some foudres, stainless steel, and concrete eggs. And we make a wine more in the Chablis style than an unwooded style. And this is exactly the result of what you have in the glass right now. It's this beautiful, fresh acidity. As you said, bright yellow fruit, hints of peach, but also citrus and lime. And it just pops out of the glass. It's so well balanced that you can just drink, as you did. You
Yeah.
can easily drink a bottle and then another
I
one,
didn't
right?
realize where it had gone, and then I was like, oh, buy another one. No, it would be fair to say that because of the very different climate in South Africa, it's a very different wine to a Chablis. I mean, it does have a Chablisien style to it for sure, but going into those kind of more exotic yellow fruits and the like, I find it more exotic on the palate than many a Chablis. Would that be a fair observation?
Yeah, one thing that even the French and we would say that too is would insist on is our terroirs are different, right?
Of course, yeah.
We have different soils, different place. What makes the Elgin appellation fantastic? It's the coolest wine growing region in South Africa. You can see a picture of it behind me. And it's Chardonnay vineyards, as a matter of fact, that's behind me. But to give you an idea, the average maximum temperature of our hottest month, which we into right now, February, is 27 degrees Celsius. It seldom goes over 30 degrees Celsius, which means we get this fantastic fresh acidity. And while many people would think cool climate South Africa doesn't exist,
It
this
does.
is
Yeah.
as cool climate as you can get. And the major contributing factor is the fact that we're very close to the ocean, and we highly elevated with three mountain ranges surrounding us, and it gives us this ability to just produce these beautiful Chardonnays and Pinot Noirs from our valley.
As we've spoken about when I did your interview many years ago and spoke about your origin story, Elgin is known as the kind of orchard fruit basket of South Africa, is it not?
Yeah, it's South Africa's largest apple growing region.
Yes.
So yes, and for apples, you need cool climate, otherwise it just won't work.
Where I live now is the Beaver Valley, famous for its apples, actually, very famous for its apples. And we're definitely cool up here. They do struggle to grow grapes up here. I think they have some hybrids and a tiny bit of vinifera, but they
Yeah.
struggle. It gets pretty cold. Now, this particular wine, you of course work in your winemaker role, but also in an ambassadorial role. So you've been all around the world with this particular wine. Where have you seen it sit most successfully at the dinner table? And what is the perhaps one of the more esoteric pairings a sommelier or a chef has put with this particular wine?
It's good questions, but where's it done well? It's doing incredibly well in the UK at the moment.
Hmm.
UK, Germany, um, uh, uh, yeah, UK, Germany. It's flying at the moment in South Africa, and I think what really makes this attractive as a wine, people who do not like oak style Chardonnays,
Hmm.
are drinking Sauvignon Blancs or fresher style wines. This is a beautiful entry into Chardonnay. Because you don't get that heavy oaky feeling. I think it does exceptionally well with either a lemony limey chicken dish. One of my favorite dishes, if you want to, is a scallop, pan-seared scallop, with just a little bit of that fattiness, viscosity of the scallop itself, but then the acidity of this wine just balancing that out beautifully.
It really is quite a versatile wine as well, much as Chablis wines are, because of that acidity, that freshness. I mean, I would put this with anything that had anything that would enjoy a squeeze of lemon would be
Yeah,
perfect with this, right? So this could be a
100.
fire grilled squid, for example, calamari.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
would be good. But definitely into that poultry. We get some very good heritage breed chickens up here, and I can see that with
yes.
sort of lemony garlic sauce. I'm getting hungry. What time is it? Oh, 11. Okay. Yes, yes, yes. So, back to South Africa. We're into February now, one of the hottest or the hottest month. How's your harvest going?
So we actually just started. The first little bit of grapes are starting to trickle in. And again, one of the phenomenal advantages of Elgin, if you look at areas like Stellenbosch, which is our Napa Valley, they've been into the harvest for almost 4 weeks already, which is wonderful for us, especially for our cooler climate varieties. We're starting to get these beautiful cool evenings where it drops to about 15 degrees Celsius. And then daytime, today was a fairly hot day, so they actually reached 30 degrees.
All right.
But tomorrow they're forecasting 25, which is beautiful for the grapes. They come in nice and cool.
Now, I should have mentioned this earlier. What is the size of production with the Paul Clüver Village Chardonnay, and where does that fit on the scale of things with your entire range?
So it's the second largest white wine that we produce. We
Okay.
produce mostly our biggest white wine is Sauvignon Blanc. Um, and of this we produce it's about 12,000 cases. Yeah, a half cases, so 12,000 times six.
So
So
quite
just
sizable.
over.
And this comes, I should have mentioned this as well. I believe this comes from some of the younger Chardonnay vines that you have.
Yeah, so our oldest Chardonnay vineyards now are 37 years old.
Hmm.
And they form part of the Old Vine project in South Africa. Um, but yes, the village Chardonnay tends to be anything from 4 years old up to 15 years old.
And you also make that wonderful Seven Flags Chardonnay. That comes from some of your older vines.
That exactly comes from our oldest vineyard. It's a single site vineyard, and it's produced in very small quantities. So we only produce 200 cases of that.
And some of it makes its way through buyers and sellers, I believe. How would you describe that wine if somebody was lucky enough to get their hands on a bottle?
Heaven.
I've tasted it. It's special.
No, but what I love about the Seven Flag Chardonnay is the absolute focus. It's got this elegance and balance. Um, but it's got this layered complexity and concentration. I think very often people think they want to make a bigger and better wine, and it's higher alcohol, more extraction, and the price you pay of that is actually a lack of elegance and balance. And I think I have to congratulate our winemaker with that, because what he absolutely does is he captures the essence of the vineyard, and those older vineyards, They've got naturally lower yield. They've got this beautiful concentration, but it comes with acidity and balance. It's got new oak on it, but you can hardly notice it. And that's mainly for the reason that the fruit has this beautiful ability to just stand up to the oak. Yeah, and you get this fantastic wine to just enjoy.
Now, it does have that, that nice, fresh, crisp acidity, that freshness there. And there is a little bit more of the new oak, but texturally, it's quite a different wine from this. There's quite a weighty mid palate. How do you bring that about? Is that do you play about with the lees in the case of the Seven Flags?
No, so I mean the Seven Flags, they don't do a lot of botonnage.
Right. Okay.
They roll the barrels a couple of times, but it's 100% natural ferment wine.
Right. Okay.
The actual concentration of the grapes, I think, is the biggest single contributing factor. And I think our winemaker, he puts this so beautifully because he says older vines has got this natural ability to regulate themselves.
Yes. Yeah.
Unlike young vines, which he says are like teenagers.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
Where they tend to they tend to be so enthusiastic they sometimes overdo things, and
Yeah.
you get exactly the same thing with vineyards. Is the 1 year it wants to just crop, and then the next year, because it's cropped too much the previous year, it now doesn't want a hard
Yeah.
crop, and
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
you have to balance vegetation growth, etc., etc. Whereas with an older vineyard, it comes with experience, hopefully like us when we are older,
Some
which
of
means we don't want to party so hard tonight because then we won't be able to get up in the morning. So we moderate ourselves a little bit better with it, mainly because of experience. And I think the vineyards have the same ability to do exactly that as they have settled into the environment
I
over
enjoy
many.
that. I enjoy that analogy there. I do like that.
Yeah.
Well,
They then able to find this balance between yield and growth, and that gives you this beautiful concentration then.
so as you can see, I do enjoy this wine because I've managed to guzzle a glass already before lunch. So,
Good. Well, it's
Paul,
dinner time, yeah. So you can have lunch and I can have dinner, right?
yeah, it's dangerous stuff though, because I know how much I enjoy this wine. Paul, always a great pleasure to see you. Thank you for joining us at Good Food Revolution. Hopefully, we will see you in Toronto sometime this year.
Yeah, I'm actually coming over in June.
In June. Okay, I will put that in my diary and make a point of coming down to visit you. Um,
Thank you.
Take care. Enjoy the rest of your harvest. I hope everything goes according to plan, and we shall catch up again sometime soon.
Thank you.
Excellent. Thanks, Paul.